Hey everyone, this is Jesse coming at you again with another vlog, this time with video. Um, I got a few things I want to comment on here. First up here, I've got the Universe slash Classics 2.0 Galvatron figure. Uh, I'm not going to be doing a video review, although this is video and I'm giving you my thoughts, so you want to call it a video review. But in any case, I bought this figure this past weekend here. It was at Toys R Us. It's a deluxe figure. So I think it was actually $10.99 there at Toys R Us, but because of course they've got to get a little bit extra. Um, but most things I've read about this figure said that this is a pretty bad figure. Spada picked it up. He said he hated it as well. Um, I'm going to agree and disagree there. The tank mode is actually pretty basic and simple. It's a tank. I don't really care for it all that much. But here in robot mode, I think the figure actually displays quite well. But despite that, it does have quite a few problems, and I'll be talking about those. But before I talk about the problems, let me just talk about some of the undocumented features that this figure has, and I have no idea why it has these, so I'm trying to get it here in the center of the camera. First up here on the left shoulder, it's got this little panel thing. On top of the panel, if I can flip it up here, it's got this little hook, and I have no idea why it has this hook. This little hook does absolutely nothing in either the robot mode or the tank mode. It's not documented anywhere in the instructions, so that's just some useless thing. And if we look in the back here, he's got like this, I don't know, these are the tank pieces which fold onto his back, so I don't know what they're supposed to be, just kibble, jetpack, I don't know. But on the top of these things, you flip these up here, there's legs here. And let's see if I can flip this around so you can see it a little bit better. You can see that there's this leg here. I have no idea where this leg goes. It's not used in the tank mode or the robot mode. At least it's not documented that way. I've seen some pictures on the Allspark of a standing alternate tank mode where someone has made use of these legs. It looks pretty stupid to me. I don't know why these legs were included. I don't know what Hasbro was thinking. Maybe it was for some undocumented mode that they decided to scrap when they designed the instructions. I don't know, but it's got a lot of useless things on here. So there's that. Next up, what makes this figure sort of bad is the cheapness feel that it has to it, the cheapy feel that it has to it. It's definitely, they've definitely gone downhill with the build quality here on the classic figures. If you look at the original classic figures, the build quality was phenomenal. They were really good. And then if you look at the new Universe slash Classic 2.0 figures, and I'm actually looking at those, they're right over there. The Prowl and the Sunstreaker figure are actually okay. And then you look at the Tanker figure, and you can see the build quality sort of go downhill a little bit. The plastic doesn't feel as sound as what it did on the Prowl and Sunstreaker figure. It sort of has a little bit of a cheapness feel to it. Well, that's magnified here in this toy, because this is like almost knockoff quality. I haven't really had too many things fall off on the figure. While I did transform it to robot mode, I believe the arm fell off once, but I was able to snap that back on without a problem. So, but yeah, it just has a real cheap feeling and quality about it, and it's probably going to lead a lot of people to not pick this figure up. Aside from the fact that the colors are not, the final colors are not what we initially saw here in the figure. The purple is different. It should have been a bit darker than what we've got here. The dark gray, which we've got on the figure, was actually a lighter gray, which had a metallic look to it on the initial pictures that we saw. Sort of similar to the silver here, but not quite as light as this. So they've lost that, and now we've just left with this dull gray. And the face sculpt, at least on mine, and the way they applied the paint, it's sort of crappy looking. But despite all of that, I actually really like the figure. when it's displayed here in robot mode, yes, let's move the figure to the right so it centers in the camera. I actually like the way that it looks and displays in robot mode. So my suggestion to you is if you like Galvatron and you're thinking about picking this up, do so only to use it as a display piece, because I highly doubt this is actually going to hold up to any sort of play. So if you're buying it for kids, I would avoid doing that. But if you're buying it for yourself as a collector to use as a display piece, it'll probably hold up for that. And it actually, at least in my opinion, looks pretty good here when you display it in robot mode. Not nearly as good as the original classic figures, of course, but I still like it. I think just the way that it looks and the way it's proportioned, it looks pretty nice when you display it. So I'll go ahead and set that aside now. So for $10 or $11, whatever it was at Toys R Us, it's probably a bit much, especially since the tank mode is dull and boring. But if you want to buy it and display it in robot mode, I think it actually looks kind of nice. So I'll set that aside. What else did I want to mention? Tonight, Fox is debuting their fall TV. There's actually a 2-hour season premiere of Prison Break on tonight. That's the 4th season of Prison Break. I absolutely love the first season. It's a fantastic show. The second season wasn't as on par with the first season as I would have liked it to have been. The third season was a bit of a stretch, and it did get cut short because of the writer's strike. And from what I've heard of the 4th season, it's going to be an even bigger stretch of the imagination. There's sort of going to be like the A-Team, but it's still Prison Break, and I'm hooked on it. And I'm invested in the characters at this point, so I'm still going to check it out. And that's on tonight, September 1st, 2008, at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's, again, it's a 2-hour season premiere. What else did I want to mention? Oh, yes. As I've got on my TV here, I'm still hooked on watching the Hurricane Gustav coverage. Anytime there's like some big breaking news or whatever, I seem to always be hooked on the news. So I've been watching that here for count. So I choked to death on countless hours here. I watched it for a good portion of yesterday, and then listened to it on CNN on Sirius in my vehicle while I was driving, and now here I am again watching it this morning. So yeah, I'm hooked on the Gustav coverage. Anything else that I want to mention? I don't think so. I think that's it. Oh yes, there's one other thing I want to mention. For the Xbox 360, there's a video game for the Xbox Arcade called Castle Crashers. I hadn't heard of the game until a couple of weeks ago. I was on the AllSpark, and Pirated TV Pro had posted some information about it. I checked it out, and let's see, when was it? This past week here. I downloaded the demo. It was actually released, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday. I forget when they released their new games on Xbox Live. But in any case, it's like an old school 4-player arcade game. Think like Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons, the Avengers game. It's sort of along those lines. So if you really enjoyed those games growing up in the arcade, yeah, I know we don't have arcades anymore, but if you enjoyed them growing up and playing those in the arcade, I would highly recommend downloading this game. It's a blast to play. I haven't actually purchased the full version yet, but I'm planning on doing so very soon. So, and I think that's 12,000 Xbox Live points, if I remember correctly. So it's a bit pricier than some of the other games that I've bought, but I mean it's a fantastic game to play, and it does support 4 players, both locally as well as online. So that's always a good thing. So I think that's everything I wanted to bring up here in this vlog. Can't think of anything else. All right, so I'm going to sign off now. So this is Jesse closing vlog number 2.